Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the DC Collectibles DC Icons Joker figure. Now, you guys know I'm a little bit in between on the DC Icons so far. I like some of the things they're doing a whole lot, and I like some of the things they're doing not so much. I'm happy to say I'm seeing a change in the icons for the better. Joker does have a lot of the things that I'm liking about the new line. He does, however, have a few things that I'm not super fond of, so there's going to be a few things to talk about. So make sure you stick around for the whole video, and let's just get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 6.5 inches to the top of his hat, which makes him just about 16.5 centimeters. Now, you guys know I've moved most of my stuff across the country, so I can't compare him to the DC Universe Classics Joker, but I can pull out a Marvel Legends Spider-Man, just for those of you that are kind of curious how it would fit in line. He's probably technically out of scale because Spider-Man should be short. We already knew this. The DC Icons figures are not as big as the other 6-inch figures, so that's okay. It's nothing really surprising. Now, first impressions on this guy, he's got a pretty nice look to him. We have a decent paint job. We have some varying purples. They painted the buttons. We have some green and an extra purple around the wrist there, so that's nice. Different finishes. We see a little bit of, not really gloss, but a little bit more sheen on some of the purples as opposed to the more flat, lighter purple. They painted the lapel thing pretty nicely, and they painted the face really nicely. They're using that dot matrix design, which is pretty good. If you get too close, you can kind of see the dots, but it still looks really nice if you're not trying to see the dots, so I like that a whole bunch. And it's fairly clean. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but I think that's okay, if not intentional. And the mouth looks really good. The biggest paint issue that I can see is that this could be done a little bit cleaner. It looks a little bit iffy, but otherwise it's pretty solid. And the white they did for the boots, or they're not really boots, the shoes, actually looks pretty good. So overall it looks nice, and the sculpt is pretty solid. I like it for the most part. I still maintain, now it works better for Joker, but I maintain that the icons, they're slightly disproportionate for the upper bodies. They seem slightly small compared to the lower legs, or compared to the lower body in general. It works okay for Joker though, so it's not a big deal. Now in terms of accessories, he has a total of 5 hands, the 2 fist hands that are on him in the package. Then we have 3 different gripping hands, 2 that can work for the gun. It's a little bit odd that we don't have a secondary hand for the left side for him to hold the gun with both hands. But we do get the gun, so that's okay. It's nicely painted, nicely detailed, and we get a crowbar, which also looks nice, though of course it's a little bit basic. So decent accessories, and so far a decent figure. So let's see how the articulation works out. For the neck, it's a ball peg, and most of the DC icons seem to have pretty good range on that ball peg. The neck does get a little bit bulky as you get toward the top, where it meets the base of the skull, but it doesn't look too bad, and once you pose him you won't see that at all, and it does afford pretty good range. You can lean the head from side to side, so that's always nice when you're looking for a little bit of more character in your poses. You can have him look up a little bit, you can have him look down quite a fair bit, and of course it rotates all the way around, so pretty good for the head. The jacket is all soft, so no big deal there. The shoulders have basically a traditional ball hinge. They come out almost horizontally. They can rotate all the way around, no problem, and you get your bicep swivel down there, which works pretty well. It's much better looking than some other bicep swivels we've seen on jacketed figures. We have a double jointed elbow, which works pretty well. You can get pretty much all the range you want out of it, so that's really nice. And then for the wrists, we have a swivel because they're interchangeable, and we have a hinge. The hinge is a little bit stiff, but it does work, so that's pretty nice. For the torso, now here's one of the things that I'm not keen about for the DC icons, and that is the kind of reverse engineered ab crunch. Most figures have it the other way, where the lower part goes up and then the outer part goes down. We have it the opposite, so it kind of tucks in the other way, and I don't think it does this figure any justice, having the orange above the purple. In terms of clothing layers, it really would have been better to have the orange part all solid here, and it would have looked much nicer. But it's not terrible in terms of aesthetics, but let's see how it functions. It leans a little bit back, but then it pushes back forward, and it leans a little bit forward. Almost no function. That's a little bit disappointing. And there's no waist swivel, no diaphragm joint, no anything else. So he's a little bit lacking when it comes to the torso articulation. It's a little disappointing. For the hips, now this is a big deal. Look at that. You see that? that little nuanced ball peg hinge. That's really nice. It's very similar to the SH Figure Arts or other companies that are doing that now. The DC Icons have it too, so that's very cool. You don't have the best range normally, but if you pull the leg down, you get slightly better range. Now it does put the leg off slightly to an angle, but not too bad. And there is a little bit of a thigh swivel in there, but almost none at all on this Joker. So that's a bit disappointing. For the knees, we have a double jointed knee, which works really well, so that's good. The knee plastic is slightly lighter purple than the rest of the legs. I don't know if that's going to show well on camera, but be aware that the knees will kind of stand out like knee pads because they're a little bit lighter. And then lastly, we have the ankles and feet. It's essentially a ball hinge. We have a swivel at the top, and of course we have the swivel where the peg connects. That gives us our ankle rocker, and we have a functional hinge. So that is really nice. So here's the extra great thing about this. When you have this kind of ankle rocker where it's just a peg, it puts the foot at a funny angle. You can see there that that doesn't look natural, but because we have this rotation, we can give ourselves a proper ankle rocker. Sure, it's a little bulky, but it's far more functional than the basic ankle hinge of like a Marvel Legends or some of the later Soda Street Fighter figures. So it's very nice to have that. So all around, this figure is really solid. It has a few hang-ups, a few flaws that could be improved upon, but I'm very happy to have it. It's going to be a great addition. In fact, I think it's going to make the Batman figure look a little out of place. So here's hoping for a new Batman figure. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.